Wow, this is frustrating. Okay, so my capture card's audio just took a shit, and I had to like reset my whole video to start a new stream, and that was great and all, but I was only like 15 minutes into it. I just played through the BMX portion of this. I was starting to get into the surfing. Anyway, like the description says, I owned an Atari Lynx when I was a kid. I've talked before in my Game Boy streams and some other handheld streams about how I'd play my friends' Game Boys, and I liked the idea of a Game Boy a lot. Like, I really liked the idea that I could always have a game there with me, you know? But I couldn't see the screen on it hardly at all. Like, it was just awful for me. And I knew that, and that's why I never begged my parents to get one or anything. I was just like, I wouldn't be able to enjoy it enough to play it, I'm sure, all the time. But when color handhelds popped up, I got really interested, and not even so much because they were color, but because I thought I might be able to see the screen, which actually turned out to be true. I mean, the screens weren't good by any means, but I could see it. And the Atari Lynx is something that I wasn't even planning to get. We just ran into like a really good deal on one when we were at a Sears outlet warehouse, I think is what it was called, where they had just a bunch of unsold stuff, and then they were like clearancing it mostly. And the Lynx was like maybe like $80, and it came with this game, which I wouldn't have bought otherwise. And I got Blue Lightning, I think, right at the time as well, and Electro Cop later on. But I did enjoy. This is a stripped down version of California Games. It's missing some of the events from the computer game and other ports, like roller skating and frisbee are not in there. Those might be the only two. I don't know. Did it originally have 6 events? There's only 4 here. You get BMX, surfing, skateboard halfpipe, and hacky sack. And the BMX is super fun. The surfing's pretty fun. The skateboard halfpipe is awful and super hard to get used to in any way. And the hacky sack's a little bit boring, but that's my opinion of it. Anyway, we're gonna play a little bit of it. I'll do 3 attempts on the BMX and the surfing to fill up the high score table on those. The other 2 modes maybe not, because it's a little slow, but we'll see here. So yeah, that's they have different things like awesome and rad and stuff like that depending on your score. As good as James being the highest ranking, and of course I can do that on my first go. BMX pro since childhood on this crap. I've had this game forever, and this is by far the best part of it. So it's the part I played the most too. even better, and I pulled off a front flip that time, which is pretty hard to do. You usually have to do it by jumping and hitting your back wheel on something. It's kind of a crazy move. Oh, bummer, dude. They say killer, but I say it's weak. Alright, time to make our Spicoli dreams come true with the surfing. Man, the music in the BMX mode is just... oh, it's so bad. I mean, when I fired it up and I heard that, I wasn't surprised. I really feel like Atari, because I had played 7800 by that point too. A friend of mine had one of those. And Atari had just kind of developed this reputation with me as having bad sound. So, some of this is better than others, though. The Louie Louie at the beginning and whatever this next song is on the surfing, not too bad renditions, but some of the stuff sucks. Accidentally mashed through my score there. Sorry about that. I don't quite know how I did. But you can see surfing's pretty fun. It's all about just dipping down to get speed, but not too far. You get pulled in. And then, like, trying to hit as big of a fast spinning series of spins as you can, and also land it so that you come back down into the wave instead of wiping out, dude. I crushed it that time. But I'm going to be honest with you, on the half pipe, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know what the buttons do, and it always takes me forever to figure out how to do like, the most basic thing. So this is going to almost be maybe a play until I score or give up on it attempt here at a half pipe. It has a really cool scaling effect. I always thought the scaling abilities of the Atari Lynx are pretty incredible. And I mean, like, pretty incredible. Like, they kind of go beyond what a Super Nintendo can do or something, for example. I really think I've seen more impressive scaling on the Lynx. In fact, I think across these three games, in fact, you'll see more impressive scaling on the Lynx than you've seen on the Super Nintendo or the Sega CD for the most part. At least in my opinion, it scales mini sprites instead of just like a tile layer, kind of. I think like it seems like there's a lot more going on with it at least. Maybe it is just a tile layer and they do crazy tricks with it or something, but I don't know. When you see Blue Lightning, I mean, it's not quite a super scalar game like Sega put out, but it's getting there. It's like almost like something like Thunderblade. It's slower paced like Thunderblade. I don't want to say Afterburner because it's just not like that. But you'll see. It's interesting. All right. So half pipe, yeah. Check out the scaling and watch me failing. Yeah, I really don't understand half pipe. That's garbage. It's always been garbage to me, and there was a time briefly when I could like turn around a few times and like do a hand plant and get like some points. And I wasn't good at it, but I could like maybe pull that off most of the time, and I forgot how to do it. And for the most of my life playing this game, I've not understood how to play half pipe. And most people I've ever handed the game off to could also not figure out how to play half pipe within any reasonable amount of time. Footbag, or hacky sack as normal people call it, is a really easy to understand. It's just it's a little bit dull. I mean, you got to find ways to mix it up, and that's what the scoring is based on. But yeah, you're mostly just juggling the ball with a button. So here we go, footbag. So yeah, I understand that mode. I might even be good at it. I just don't find it all that interesting. I played some of it. It just feels like a real weak mini game compared to BMX and surfing. And Halfpipe, again, I do not get it. It's pure frustration. So anyway, that's a pretty good presentation of California games. I don't have much else to say about it. It's 4 mini games, it's whatever. There's definitely better stuff on the Lynx, and that's the thing too. Is this is just what I have. It's not like these are the best games on the Lynx. I do think the other two are very, very interesting games. Um, like they're worth looking at and talking about under any circumstances. Uh, just because Blue Lightning is an amazing tech demo for the hardware, and Electro Cop is an amazingly ambitious game, marred by a few terrible game design decisions, like really, really poor game design decisions. But it's really like a cool perspective that no other game uses. So I'm looking. I mean, I shouldn't say no other game uses, but not anything I can think of. It's pretty weird. So we'll be back in a minute to check those out. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back in just a second here. So yeah, this game just jumps right into the game unless you have a password, in which case you can jump to a specific mission. It's a lot. So to quickly describe this, it's a lot like playing Afterburner, like the same gameplay as Afterburner, but at the pace of Thunderblade. So it's a little bit slow and easy, and it might drag on a little bit. If it drags on too much, I might skip to another game. But it was amazing on a small screen. Like back when this came out, like this was like a thing to behold, like that it was handheld, much like PSP or something. Like it's just like, holy crap! Because really, I mean, even getting into 16-bit consoles, they didn't really do scaling this well for the most part. Like, if you compare them directly, this is at a lower resolution, but it is pretty impressive. So check it out. It's basically a graphics demo for the Atari Lynx Blue Lightning. I do think I actually had, the last time I played this, had the same trouble here, kind of being stuck on having to blow up so many turrets down there and just not being able to do it because they run into the canyons, or the buttes, or whatever the hell they are. I didn't exactly do great on ammo there. Yeah, kind of blew through my missiles about halfway through the level, so let's see if we can do better this time. Wow, it wasn't until right before I died that I discovered that I had a button to do a barrel roll and an afterburner. That's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting is the word for all of these games. 89. This is even earlier than I realized. That's insane. I think I got this in 90, though. I'm pretty sure. Uh, what was the last password they gave me? Was it plan? I don't know if I'll continue on this or not. I'll probably switch over to Electro Cop. This will probably be a fairly short stream because, yeah, these games are definitely more interesting than they are fun. I don't really know how to preserve ammo correctly on this game, and it's frustrating. Um, the pace is a little bit choppy and slow. Still better than most attempts at a 3D game on like the Genesis or something, though. In fact, it's kind of a shame that Sega had their own um, handheld hardware coming out that they supported. I mean, it wasn't. I don't even think the Game Gear was a thing yet, but they were like about to. Or maybe it did come out right around this time, maybe around the same time. So they weren't going to support Atari, of course, but this hardware would have been so much better for something like Space Harrier or Outrun or anything like that. Any of the scaling games, especially the simpler ones like Hang On, could be done. Hang On could be done spectacularly well on the Lynx if it was programmed by somebody with skill. Um, it was just really well suited for that kind of thing, and it's a shame that the Game Gear ended up just being based off of Master System hardware more or less, and not really having those kind of 3D abilities. It's a shame that Sega almost always overlooked the 3D elements despite it being like one of their main things in the arcade. Very weird. But yeah, give me just a second here and then I'll switch this over and we will check out Electro Cop, a game that is almost too weird for me to describe. By the way, I just saw some Atari Lynx news today. There's a couple new games coming out, and one of them is Wolfenstein 3D. It looks like they're running it in the. And it looks like it's getting a physical release, but I'm not sure. Uh, but yeah, it's running in like the vertical mode. I don't know if that's true that it would be getting a physical release. It doesn't seem like they could secure the rights, but maybe they could. Who knows? But yeah, I think the reason why they went with the portrait mode on it is to speed up rendering. It's quite narrow, but it runs very smooth. It's impressive, and when you think about it, the Lynx is kind of the perfect thing to run Wolf 3D on. So the Jaguar port of the game is also pretty good. Anyway, this game's weird as hell. I can barely describe it. Like I said, you're an Electro Cop. You're in these 3D mazes that you're trying to navigate through, and they have weapons, enemies running around in them. When I say 3D mazes, it's kind of the same perspective as like Zybots or something, I guess, where it's like a fixed looking forward. But you can move left and right on it on this one, and also just straight forward and back out of the screen, and it fully zooms in and out using the scaling effects on the Lynx and a bunch of rastering tricks. It actually makes it look like a 3D maze, but not with a free camera. It won't. Maybe if it doesn't make sense, wait until you see it, I guess. And really, the gameplay just consists of getting through these doors and getting them open. And the way you get them open, if you don't already know the password, I'm going to show you this dumb crap, is that you sit there and you wait. You sit there and wait for the code to enter with using a hacking program that brute forces it over a very long period of time. And of course, the entire game is a timed mission to get out of all of these mazes that you're stuck in. So anyway, here we go with Electro Cop. Check it out. Now this is where stuff gets weird, and let's start wasting some time here. There's built-in games if we really want to waste time. Like Meteors. I'm not going to show you the sliding puzzle game because I don't actually know how to get out of it. But Meteors is that. You shoot rocks. It's asteroids, but crappy. Outbreak is breakout, but crappy. I was still pretty amazed at this whole game within a game concept. Unadvertised extra game that they threw in. So I was pretty entertained by this back in the day. I mean, not like really entertained, because it was a pretty shitty little breakout game, but you know. Even if you beat it, it says you win, big deal. Obviously, a trick to make you waste your precious time that you need to be using to spend rescuing the president's daughter. Alright, that's another game clear. Let's check that off the list. So basically, if you don't know the door code, you use this program. Stasis is to freeze enemies, which I haven't really messed with. Icebreaker, though, is how you get through the codes, and it just brute forces them and forces you to wait to get through them, which is just so stupid. But if this is, oh, this is number 1, so I actually don't know the code here. Never mind. I went through door number 2 before, and I still remember that one was like 9874 or something. But yeah, this is the gameplay. This is what you get right here on your Atari Lynx playing Electro Cop. This is how they punish you for playing Electro Cop. Now, obviously, what you do is you write down every code once you get it. Then you don't have to do this. Obviously, I could just look these up online if I really wanted to. I think that these both take you to the same exit. I could be wrong about this, but I think they both take you to the same exit and they punish you to go through the right door because its code is 9874. And obviously, if you're waiting from 0, that's, yeah, that's exactly what they do to you. That's exactly how this game does to you on this level. I don't know level 2's code either, but there's also a foreground element. And some side areas. There's all sorts of shit to look at here, basically. Those white tiles make you slide. There's also red tiles that hurt you that we'll be seeing here. Check this out. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That's not something I can go through. Oh, you know, I didn't explore. I know that there's something in front here. There's stuff you can explore there. I don't know about over here. Same deal with it. Oh, shit. Damn. Okay, we don't know what we're doing here. Why not? This is the gameplay, folks. Let's hope it's not 999, but you never know. Sometimes it is. Exciting, huh? If I ever decide to stream this for real, we'll just get a list. Oh man, it's gonna be in the upper half, huh? I mean, it could really stop anywhere, right? You just kind of wrap up any old point. There we go. That's right. Keep that med pack going. Repair that almost destroyed weapon. Is there nothing in here at all? Did I do a code to go into a room that actually literally has nothing? Oh, that's frustrating. Am I being tricked? Oh, that's a huge waste. So that just makes you resent the entire game. Get through there. Get through there and die. Yay. Icebreaker. Yet again. No, I'm not playing out the remaining 50 minutes of this bullshit. And, you know, as sluggish as all of this is, if I didn't have to wait on the codes, it really wouldn't be that bad. But I don't even know if I understood it that well when I was a kid and played it. I'm sure I did, I just don't remember playing it very much. And it's maybe because of the frustrating stuff like with the floor tiles and aligning your character in 3D to fight stuff. It gets pretty annoying. Oh man, it's not just like there's 5 levels. I see. And it's not like you go through them in order. Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, maybe it was just plain old frustrating and I got lost in it all the time. That's probably what Electro Cop's really all about. So, you know, I do what I'm about to do right now. After playing these 3 games in this order, like I have many, many times, what I would end up doing is being like, yeah, well, BMX is fun. So, surprisingly, the game out of all of these that I didn't pick out is the one that I ended up playing. So this was just going to be a short little stream, but I'm very tired, and I'm sorry if I spent a lot of this staring off into space, deep breathing into the mic, forgetting whether or not it was on. But I am going to play some more California games, BMX, because it's a lot of fun before I wrap it up. Let's give that a good few goes here. I didn't save the high score table from earlier, so is what it is. I may do some surfing too. Really, the BMX and the surfing is the only good half of this. Most excellent indeed, my dude. Let's take a little surf break. Alright, so to summarize my thoughts on the Atari Lynx, I thought it actually had a lot of potential, and even though it has a small library, I think there's a lot of good games in it. But the games I owned weren't great. They're more fun than not playing a video game. So I'd probably rate most of these just a 5 out of 10, which is my definition of an average game that is more fun than not playing a video game, but less fun than a game that is good in any way. Because like you only get like half a game here. Like 2 decent mini games and 2 not decent mini games is that's not a complete package. But it's the pack-in, so whatever, right? Blue Lightning's almost there. It's just frustrating and slow. It's not at all exciting to play and not compelling in any way. Electro Cop is compelling, but it's miserable to play. It's just frustrating and controls crappily. The challenges are crappy and frustrating, but the concept of being like in this 3D maze is cool. Just could have been done better, you know? So, before I completely cut this off, I'm going to surf one more time. A really good reminder of how good the color and graphics were in this game. Like, really, like, the screen wasn't great on the Lynx, but it was good enough for that color and stuff to come across and be like, wow, that's really cool. And again, it was a million times easier for me to see the screen on the Lynx than it was on the Game Boy. So I quickly upgraded from the Lynx to the Turbo Express, actually. So and that was also an even worse battery hog, and I had the same kind of problems I had with my first Lynx, with the adapter connector and the video capacitors. So they were finicky little pieces of hardware, and it's probably especially hard nowadays to find one that works well. Anyway, one last go here on surfing, and then I'm going to wrap it up. So yeah, the Lynx had a lot of really cool ports of stuff like Rygar, and the Road Blasters port was amazing on it. Like, it's almost arcade perfect, except for, you know, the lower resolution, of course, but otherwise the whole game is there and it's awesome. There's some really good stuff, a lot of, you know, Atari arcade games and things like that. So there's definitely better games in the library that we'll check out later in the future. We'll come back around to the Lynx and look at the stuff that I did not have. Not all of it's great. There's some stinkers in there too, but it's a stronger library than you'd think, and I like it better than, for example, the 7800. I think the biggest problem they had with this, because it was so promising otherwise, the biggest problem Atari had was that all of their third-party developers were locked up in agreements and or development cycles with entirely different hardware, and they just kind of got cut out. This is foreshadowing what Atari should have looked into before they went all in on the Jaguar. A bit of an issue for them during this era. But unlike the Jaguar, I think this actually delivered on being impressive hardware. So yeah, that's the Atari Lynx. Impressive, weird, technical games here that are more of technical interest than they are like super duper fun to play. But something I wanted to look at, talk about, and I have a certain amount of nostalgia for. So thanks for watching with me. I owned an Atari Lynx. If you did or didn't,